Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network. Sunday, March the 6th, Ian Cameron. We've got Renus Vitalins, Vito, back with us as well, ready to break down the Sunday NHL card. And I love Sundays now in the NHL at this time of year. Football season is over, and you're seeing the effect it's having. The fact that football season's over on the NHL schedule on a Sunday. The deck is clear. You can put more games on a Sunday. We weren't getting Sundays earlier this season where we had 8 games like we do today, but an 8-game Sunday NHL slate. So looking forward to breaking those down here in just a couple minutes. Before we do that, though, just look briefly back on what happened last night. We'll go quickly through the Saturday games, but we all liked Chicago, Philadelphia over the total, and it was my best bet on the show yesterday. 4-3 Flyers. Game goes over the total, even after a slow start. And Vito and I were talking before the show, people panicking after 1-0 when after the first period in that game, and we say, slow down. It's a 60-minute game. Take it easy. Everything's going to be fine. I've seen a million games this year in the NHL where it's 1-0 after the first, and then the scoring explodes after that. And that's exactly what we saw in that Blackhawks Flyers game. So 4-3, Philadelphia gets the win. Philadelphia, give them credit. They played a little bit more competitively, and there's a bunch of games. All their losses, when they do lose, seem to be competitive at least. They're not getting blown out. So credit to the Flyers. They are playing a little bit better. How about that Wild West shootout that ended up unfolding in the desert? 8-5, Arizona over Ottawa. I had the team total for the Coyotes over 2.5. Man, early in the second period, we got that one in the win column. Nick Schmaltz, remember this guy's name? We kind of mentioned him yesterday. I know Vito did. This is a guy you want to ride for goal score props, points props, anything like that right now. He has got it going for the Arizona Coyotes. And in fact, give them credit. Their whole offense has picked it up quite a bit. And sure enough, they end up getting 8 goals. Now they blow a big lead to Ottawa, but they rallied back and they ended up getting the victory 8-5. Florida pounding Detroit 6-2. Another game where a goal scorer prop that we mentioned on the show came through. Mason Marchment. We talked about him. Like I said, it's great. It's a great investment to invest in Marchment paper. Mason Marchment, I'm telling you, he continues to produce for the Florida Panthers, and they get a big 6-2 win against the Red Wings last night. Montreal 5-2 against Edmonton. Vito, this was the perfect game for me. I don't get to really indulge or brag too much or boast, and I don't like doing that, but boast too much about going 6-0 in a game. In one game, going 6-0, but we did that with Montreal and Edmonton. Montreal first period team total over. Montreal first period puck line. Montreal first period money line. We had Montreal full game team total over. We had Montreal a little bit on the money line for the full game. The full game over 6.5 in that Montreal Edmonton game. It was just phenomenal, and it all came through. Montreal, I'm telling you, Montreal wagers right now until the betting markets, who are lagging way behind on this team, until they catch up. It's one of the best bets in hockey right now. Taking this team to score early in games, taking them in the first period, taking them in a puck line, taking them even with a smaller bet on the money line. The betting markets are way behind. If you're using full season records to handicap the Montreal Canadiens right now, throw it out. This is a different team right now. They are playing with confidence. Marty St. Louis is obviously he's a great teacher, and he's clearly gotten this team to clean up some of their bad habits, particularly defensively, and I give him credit for that, and I give the team credit for responding. So Montreal now 6-1 in their last 7 games after that win last night against the Edmonton Oilers, and I think there's going to continue to be value to bet on Montreal moving forward as well. And just the other games, Boston ruins Rick Nash night in Columbus, spoils it at least, as they beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 5-4. Nashville just crushing San Jose 8-0. Welcome back to the National Hockey League, Alex Stalock. Obviously not a rude welcome back for him with the San Jose Sharks last night. Washington gets another good performance, beats Seattle 5-2. Disappointing from the Leafs. They lose 6-4 to Vancouver. Defensive issues. Jack Campbell struggles last night, which are now becoming an even bigger thing now. He seems to be giving up 4, 5, 6 goals every game, or the Leafs do when Campbell's in net. It happened again last night. And how about the game of the night? Calgary, Colorado. That was a playoff caliber hockey game. Back and forth, breakneck pace, great intensity, little nastiness as well. A great fight, great heavyweight tilt. Milan Lucic and Curtis McDermott in that game as well. It had everything. Great goaltending, great goals, just back and forth action. And what a win for the Calgary Flames. Going into Denver, where not too many teams win, and Johnny Gaudreau gets the overtime winner for a 4-3 Calgary win in that game. That game was very good to me as well. Lindholm prop cashed. Andre Burakovsky, we mentioned him on the show yesterday. He cashed his goal scorer prop. First period, both teams to score was a bet that I took and recommended on the show yesterday. It got there. So it's a very good Saturday, to put it mildly, except for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's one of the teams that hurt me a little bit last night. And I know it did the same to Vito, right? Vito, what did you think of yesterday?
That was a great night. I just wished I would play more games, because I definitely like Predators. I don't know why I didn't place them. I don't know why I chose Leafs. Well, yeah, it is what it is with Leafs. It's a loser there. And obviously I took that over with the Hawks and Flyers. And that's what I think many people were on that. So that cashed. So overall, yeah, a 1-1 night for me. Games, more or less, Nashville 8-0. Unbelievable, that game. I mean, San Jose, again, going to play today, guys. Yeah, Flames beating Colorado Avalanche with Vladar in the net. Also, I think very great performance there from Flames. Canadians continue to be on a roll with 5-2 against Oilers. I mean, Mike Smith continues to be cold in the net. And yeah, more or less, Panthers as always with the victory, guys.
Yeah, another Florida win for the Panthers. Well, the Panthers are starting to get their game back again. They had a little struggle there. They lost a few games in a row. Defensively, they weren't very good for a few games, but boy, last 2 games against Ottawa and Detroit, the offense has been there, and the defense and goaltending has been a lot better. They've fixed those issues that they had a little bit as well. So Florida getting the win there in that game. All right, let's go to the Sunday card. We've got 8 games. One of them, by the way, is a TNT game, national television, Dallas and Minnesota. That game will be nationally televised, so just make sure that you are aware of that. All right, we'll start with the Los Angeles Kings taking on the Buffalo Sabres. LA minus 170, road favorites in this game, 6 the total, pretty much across the board in this one. This is an early start, 1 p.m. Eastern game. Dustin Tokarski confirmed in goal this afternoon for the Buffalo Sabres. And Dustin Tokarski has gone ice cold in the last several starts. 1-5 in his last 4, 1-4, I should say, in his last 5 starts. 3.64 goals against average, 887 save percentage during that time. It's been a rough go for him. 5 straight starts with Tokarski since January the 30th. He's made, 5 starts here in the new year since we got to 2022. 3 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, 4 goals allowed by him here in this game. So struggles definitely in between the pipes for him. I'd probably look at some kind of, I don't know if I'd look at the LA team total, but I think it's probably got a good chance to get there over 3.5. I like the full game over a little bit now with Tokarski in net 6. And I probably like the full game over more because I think Buffalo probably contributes to the scoring too. I like what I'm seeing from them. They've actually got, Vito, and you might not, nobody's going to think this. The casual hockey fan's not going to think, wow, one of the best number 1 lines in the NHL right now is the Buffalo Sabres have it. But they do have it. They've got a top line that has been on fire for an extended period of time. They continue to produce, and I'm talking about, you know who. We've talked about them on this show every time we bring up the Buffalo Sabres. Tage Thompson, Alex Tuck, and Jeff Skinner. We've talked about those 3 guys repeatedly on this show and how good they have been as a line, as the top line for the Buffalo Sabres. And they have played terrific hockey as of late. And I think with the Kings, what I don't like, Vito, is their defensive game and their penalty kill. It's not been good on this road trip that they've been on. They have struggled in that regard. It's been an issue. Quick and Peterson haven't necessarily shut the door either, but don't like how they've played in front of them. There's been some breakdowns. There's been some issues there. And the one thing about the Buffalo Sabres, the win against Toronto and also Friday night in their game against the Minnesota Wild, this is a team that's finding the back of the net right now. And it's going to be a challenge here a little bit for the Buffalo Sabres. So, yeah, I think if you're the Kings, you got Boston coming up tomorrow in a back-to-back on the road to wrap up this road trip. You got to get off the schneid here a little bit. It's been a rough go. You lost, obviously, to Dallas. You did find a way to beat Columbus in overtime 4-3, but you've lost 2 of your last 3 games. I think you got to try to get on some kind of momentum here if you're the LA Kings right now. Will they is the question, but I don't want to sell Buffalo short, because we've seen this team win back-to-back games, score 5 goals in back-to-back games, and I think you're paying a little bit of a premium here to back LA. I don't hate the idea of betting on LA taking the Kings here, but I do have an issue at the price we're getting with the LA Kings, considering what we've seen from Buffalo here these last couple of games, where we've seen them beat some pretty good teams, Toronto and Minnesota, and we've seen them find the back of the net as well. So I'm probably looking more than anything at over 6 here, and you know it. You don't even have to guess. You know what goal scorer prop I'm going to bet in this game. You already know. Tage Thompson. The man just continues to deliver the goods for the Buffalo Sabres. Now, I believe last game, again, and Okposo as well. Kyle Okposo is someone you actually want to consider for the Sabres as well. You've been able to get him plus 350, plus 400, prices like that to score a goal. And he's on a run right now where he's scored multiple times of late and been a bit of a uptick in offensive production for him. Yeah, he's got goals, Kyle Okposo, 4 of the last 5 games. And you've been able to get around plus 400 on this guy to score a goal. So those would be the 2 Sabre props, Okposo and Thompson. Skinner, you could even go with him because he's starting to heat up as well. And for the LA Kings, Kempe goes without Arvidsson, who scored, I believe, the overtime winner the other night. Those are 2 I would consider goal scorer props for the Kings. I think you'll see probably goals both ways here. Vito, what do you think here? Early start, LA, Buffalo.
Yeah. Well, first of all, yeah, I think Sabres are saving their goalie for tomorrow because they play against Florida tomorrow, also at home. And if we just look from the rest factor, I mean, for the LA, this will be the 4th game in this week, 3rd on the road. For the Sabres, only a 3rd game. So, yeah, Sabres coming off from 2 very great wins, I mean, against the Leafs and Wild. So, and they find the scoring there. I know Leafs and Wild are not the best, maybe best teams in the league in the D, but still they are elite teams, so defense should be okay there. Is okay. So yeah, scoring against those teams, I think that's good, and I think they will continue to score as well here today against LA. And if we just look from the LA side, I mean they just now won against Columbus, I think, where they actually challenged the goal in OT, right? They actually lost, and then it was offsides, and then they won in OT, which was crazy. So I would prefer LA here only if they would actually maybe lost that game, so they would have like 2 losses in a row, and that would make me maybe look at the LA more here. But at the moment, I would like to have a little bit more price, to be honest, with LA here on the road. I don't think this is the number I want to lay with them. And yeah, well, checking from the goal scorer props with Buffalo, guys. Yeah, definitely the top line, which Ian mentioned, which is Skinner, right, Thompson, and Tuck. Those guys being on fire. I mean, also we have seen the 2nd and 3rd line from Buffalo also scored some goals. This Asplund and Olofsson has been actually making some pretty okay plays from time to time. Also, the 3rd line with Okposo, that guy also been scoring. So yeah, I think definitely a few guys today of these 3 lines will find the scoring for Buffalo. So. And from Kings, also the same guys which Ian mentioned, actually, also Kempe and Arvidsson. Those are the goal scorers I would look for. Maybe you can look also for this guy Moore. He also has find some little bit scoring for Kings, but he's more like a depth guy. So not sure about if he's on power play or not. But yeah, overall, I'm just staying away from this game because I think, any team can win here. But perhaps it goes over, I think.
Yeah, and you know what? If you want to be a little bit creative too, in terms of these props, maybe you look at also Arthur Kaliev. He's a blue liner for the Kings. He scored twice against Dallas earlier on this road trip. They apparently wanted him to shoot the puck more often than he's done for most of the season. Well, he's shooting the puck and he's starting to score. So this could be something that the betting markets are a little bit asleep at the wheel on with Arthur Kaliev, the big rangy blue liner here for the LA Kings. They said he's got a good shot. He doesn't use it enough. He's starting to shoot the puck a little bit more. And we'll see if he keeps doing that here. Now, unfortunately, he's not always a guy that's going to get big minutes here it's on the 4th line here for the Kings. Forward, not a defenseman, but yeah, fourth line for the Kings. But so you always are concerned, how many minutes is he going to get? How many shots is he going to get? But definitely he's shooting the puck more, so something to keep an eye on there. Yeah, Trevor Moore's a good call by Vito here. He has started to produce a bit. He's plus 300 anytime goal score. I don't mind putting a couple bucks on him too, because he's starting to heat up. He's kind of like what I thought with Robbie Fabry, for Detroit yesterday. And I cashed a goal scorer prop with him against Florida. He's just starting to heat up. He's just starting to get a little production going again. And sometimes if you're early in the streak, where players starting to get the offense going, you can really capitalize. And maybe that's the case as well for Trevor Moore for the LA Kings right now, because you're starting to see, obviously, him get a little bit more of an uptick in production of late. And he's playing on a second line there with Deneau and with Arvidsson for the LA Kings. So he's going to get the minutes. You know that for a fact. And he's gotten 4 points in the last 3 games for the LA Kings. So Trevor Moore point prop, certainly. I like that.
And he's also on a power play. I just now checked. He's on a second power play. So yeah, Trevor Moore, I like it. He will get a nice value, And a team like Sabres, I think he can easily score or get a points at least.
Yep. I think that's a good call. Good value call for sure. Do you generally bet single bets? Always single bets. I rarely do parlay bets across all sports. Usually it's all single bets for the most part. Not many parlays. Not that I never do parlays, but they're rare. And the majority of my wagers definitely straight bets. All right, St. Louis, New Jersey. We've got the Blues minus 130, road favorites, 6.5 the total. Now keep in mind, this price on St. Louis opened minus 170. So we've seen like a 40-cent move here toward the New Jersey side in this game, even with Ville Husso confirmed in net, who, of course, has probably outplayed Binnington for the better part of the last month or two. Although you cannot blame Binnington too much for yesterday. The first goal he's got to stop. That you can blame him for. But the loss, he can't score goals for the St. Louis Blues. And yesterday they could not beat Ilya Sorokin in net for the Islanders, who was very strong. And the Islanders got back to playing Islander hockey, good defensive hockey. And they did that yesterday with a 2-1 win over the St. Louis Blues. Blues will be looking to bounce back. 2 losses in a row on this road trip now for the Blues. So definitely some sense of urgency here for this game against the New Jersey Devils, who have lost 2 in a row as well. Columbus and the Rangers returning home in this one. I'm going to stick to the old same script that I've been sticking to with New Jersey, and that's really the way I'm playing this game. I mean, if you like St. Louis, you're certainly getting a better price now. You've got them off back-to-back road losses. You would think focus is there. Obviously, they've got Ville Husso in net. That's a good thing, probably for St. Louis. You got your guy that's been playing better in the pipes, but in between the pipes for this game. You don't have any major injuries to speak of outside of Marco Scandella, the blue liner, who's been out for a long period of time. So you're a relatively healthy hockey team. Pavel Zacha missed the last game for the Devils, but it looks like he's going to draw back into the lineup here this afternoon for the Devils. So that certainly helps them out. But mostly the guys that have been producing for them lately have been obviously Bratt, Hughes. They've been excellent. Hischier scored a great goal against the Rangers the other night. Sharon Govich has been lighting it up lately for the Devils as well. Even Jesper Boquist has gotten in on the offense in recent games for the Devils. We've talked about this, Vito, on this show with New Jersey repeatedly. They've scored a goal in the first period in every game since the All-Star break. And they have also, when you look at the numbers for them, they have in all but one game, and it was the last game against the Rangers with Igor Shesterkin in net, who was magnificent, by the way, once again for the Rangers. Every game except that one, the Devils have scored at least 3 goals since the All-Star break. So I'm doing a double New Jersey team total for this game. New Jersey first period, team total over. That is cashed in every game since the All-Star break. And I'm going to keep going back to the well with that. You can get a pretty good price, minus 140, New Jersey to score a goal in the first period. And I'm also going to go with New Jersey team total over 2.5, minus 145, which you can find right now at DraftKings. And as Sam Calmer mentions, 13 goals against last 4 starts, Husso, which is true. Husso has not been necessarily as good the last few starts. Long term, for the overall last month and a half, just that overall period of time, he's been very good. But the last few games, he hasn't quite been as good for the Blues. So I believe the Devils can find the back of the net. They'll score in the first period. They're at home. They're the rested team. They played Friday night. Blues had to play yesterday afternoon. I think New Jersey scores in the first period, and I think they get to 3 goals. So New Jersey, for me, first period over team total, full game team total over 2.5, minus 145 as well. Vito, St. Louis, New Jersey.
Yeah, well, I think here on this game there will be different options because I think both sides are pretty even, have a chance to win this game here tonight. My angle on this game is first of all the goalies. I would rather choose Ville Husso, where I'm gonna lay my wager, not like Dolphs on or Gillies. Second is a small revenge spot for Blues. Last time Devils beat them at home after the All-Star break. That was the first game. I remember that. So yeah, they're gonna play just 2 times this season. So to avoid the sweep from Devils, Blues have to win today. And I watched the price yesterday. I see that the price is now better on Blues. So I think at minus 125 or minus 120, which you can now grab the Blues. I think I have taken the Blues here on the money line against Devils. I know they're on a back-to-back and all those things, but I'm not too worried about this back-to-back. I mean, this is only third game in this week for Blues. And as well for Devils, I know they have great forwards here. I mean, like all these Hughes, Hishers, Brads, Jespers, and all these guys. And I know they can find back of the net. But the Blues team has a very, very great defense. So if the Blues will bring their A game, which I hope they do today, because it's the last game of the road trip, I think they should avoid the sweep here as well on the road trip, as well avoid the sweep from Devils. So I'm gonna go with Blues on the money line here, with minus 125. And props, a little bit adding about the props as always. Perron, Kyrou, I think the same guys for Blues. Yesterday it was Islanders, but the Islanders have very great D. We know that today there's not gonna be Sorokin and good D in the Devils team, so I expect maybe Perron, Kyrou, Shen, those guys will get on the board. And yeah, from Devils, I mean, nothing much to add here. Like Hughes, his share, I mean, Brad, all the same guys.
Yeah, I mean, definitely with the Devils, it's Bratt, Hughes, Sharon Govich. I think that quartet I like above all else for Devils player props to score a goal in this game. For points props, those would be the players I look for. St. Louis, Shen, Kyrou. I could see that for sure. Shen and Kyrou are the two that I've been targeting for a while. Perron has kind of stepped up lately, and it looks like he's going to play as well for the Blues today. For them, those are the ones I'd look at. Those have been the ones that have been chipping in and doing the most damage lately. Shen, Kyrou, Perron for the St. Louis Blues going into this game. I definitely lean full game over as well, but I'm going to target more the Devils because, I do believe at home here you'll get the Devils playing well. And if it's Nico Daws in net, we don't know for sure yet. It is Nico Daws. Just confirmed. Nico Daws. He is better. All right. I don't know how much better than John Gillies, but he's the better option right now. I've seen enough of both of these guys now that Nico Daws gives them a better chance to win right now. And I think there's a better, bigger, long-term upside and future for Nico Daws than there is. John Gillies is a journeyman goalie who's been bounced around from multiple teams for the last 5 years or so. Nico Daws is still young and can improve. So, yeah, he's definitely got the bigger long-term upside. No question about that. All right, the next game is a TNT game, nationally televised, Dallas and Minnesota. We've got Minnesota minus 150 home favorites here, 6.5 the total in this game. Very, very interesting matchup here with the Stars and the Wild. You've got the Wild that have been, let's be honest, not playing very good hockey. I mean, the only win they have on their docket games is lowly Philadelphia. In a game they actually had to come back and win that game 5-4. Other than that, they're 1-5 in their last 6. They've struggled defensively in a big way. I mean, you look at what they're doing defensively, Vito, what's happened? 4 goals allowed to Ottawa, 3 goals allowed to Toronto, 7 to Calgary, another 5 spot to Calgary, 4 to Philadelphia, even though they won that game. And then, of course, they give up the 5 goals to Buffalo in the loss on Friday night. So this has not been, obviously, a Minnesota team that's played good defense lately. Cam Talbot struggled in net, but they had Kakinen in net Friday night against Buffalo, and still they gave up goals. So, it's one of those situations where you can't just say it's a Talbot thing, Vito, with this group, and why all of a sudden they're just hemorrhaging goals left and right. It's a team issue at the moment because Kakinen came in against Buffalo, and all I heard from not just Terry. Terry's the biggest Minnesota Wild fan we know. He's the biggest Minnesota Wild fan associated with this show, but other people that know the Wild and I because I do know someone else that cheers for the Wild. He says that this is a team defense issue because they brought Kakinen in against Buffalo and they still struggled defensively in that game. So that's where the problems are. I know they miss Matt Dumba. We've talked about that, but come on, you got to find a way to still make do and play good in your own end without it's a key defenseman, but you've got 6 other defensemen you got to throw out there if you're Dean Evison every night. You've got to rely on them to get the job done here in this game. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I know there's people liking the under. I can't bet an under with Minnesota right now with their defensive issues, and I cannot bet an under for Minnesota at home. I just won't do it. I mean, you know the track record on home ice for this team with the overs. We've talked about this all year. 17-5 over the total for Minnesota on home ice. That's definitely not the kind of track record I like, not by any stretch of the imagination. So, yeah, for me, it's over in this game, 6.5. In this and look for Dallas, you don't see many 6.5s, but I don't know what I'm going to get from Minnesota defensively. I do want to point something out. We don't have goalies confirmed yet for this game, but I know for a fact it will be Jake Ottinger in net for the Dallas Stars. And there's something that is important to point this out. This is going to be a guy that's going to be as motivated as it gets to play well today. Jake Ottinger, do you know where he's from? Minnesota, Lakeville, Minnesota, which is nearby Minneapolis, St. Paul. He's playing close to home. From what I've read, he's going to have lots of family, friends in attendance this afternoon at XL Energy Center in Minnesota to cheer him on and watch him play today. So doesn't mean he's going to play great and look like Brodeur and maybe steal a game, but he's motivated. The bottom line is he is absolutely going to be, I think, at least try to be dialed in today. He's playing close to home, his hometown, his home state. He's got family and friends in attendance. So look out for Jake Ottinger today. Let's see if he can deliver the goods, but he's definitely going to be amped up, playing close to home and having obviously family and friends in attendance here for this game. So I'm telling you right now, I'm tempted to take Dallas at this number, at this price with the Ottinger situation. I think he's going to really want to bear down, play a hell of a hockey game in net this afternoon for Dallas in front of family and friends close to home. Don't underestimate the power of that angle and that theory. And a lot of times you see goalies step up in that situation. So I'm probably going to get Dallas as a bet here before before this game before the puck drops in this game, because I'm already seeing it go up from -130 to -150 on Minnesota. And I get it. They're back home, desperate times. They've been good at home. They need a win. Dallas is still a little bit, sketchy. They're inconsistent. They're a little bit erratic, Dallas. I get all of that stuff. No question about that. But Dallas is playing pretty well at the moment. Let's give them a little bit of credit. 4 of their last 5 they've won. They beat Winnipeg twice, LA, Buffalo. The only loss was to Nashville in a shootout. So they've been in every game. It's hard to beat this team at all or by margin. They just seem to play close games. I think Dallas could sneak this one out right now. Keep an eye, though, on the situation with Seguin. You're right. And Miro Heiskanen. Both of those guys were late scratches prior to the Winnipeg game on Friday night. Heiskanen and Seguin. Seguin's going to play. It looks like Tyler Seguin is back. Rick Bowness was saying he should be fine. He had a non-COVID illness. Coach expects him to be back today. And Heiskanen a little bit more unsure of that. Still listed as a game time decision here, but definitely leaning over. Definitely leaning stronger to Dallas. I'm leaning here in this game, +130. I'm sure I'm gonna bet that. I'm just waiting for the price maybe to continue going up, and then I'm going to see if I can get the best, highest price possible with the Dallas Stars here. Vito, what do you think? Stars and Wild.
Yeah, I think that's a very great point you mentioned about the goalie Ottinger. I think he's definitely going to be hyped up for a game like that. You will see that, guys. I think. And yeah, if we talk about this game, division rival games are always interesting. They always tend to be close. This is the third meeting between these two clubs. First meeting, Minnesota won 7-2, and then Dallas won 7-4 at home. Both teams won at home. So yeah, this is the third meeting now. I think yeah, with Minnesota, the thing is, since they are missing this defense man, Dumba. I mean, sometimes yeah, one man maybe doesn't change a lot, but looks like they cannot just find the right pairings anymore. Dumba is out. They try to switch something up, and nothing is working. They're allowing 4 or 5 goals to every team. Doesn't matter. It's Buffalo, Red Wings, Toronto. Every time they're gonna eat like 4 or 5. So even with Dallas, I think Dallas finds also the scoring guys. Definitely watch for the player prop Robertson. I mean, that guy is playing lights out at the moment. I mean, that guy's liking the hockey right now.
Yes. I 1,000% agree with that. I co-sign what you just said, Vito. 100%.
Yeah. Robertson, yeah, he's crazy with those hands. I mean, how he's scoring the goals looks so calm and likes to make the plays, passes. He can do everything, looks like. So yeah, Robertson is the guy to watch for Dallas. And yeah, well, from this game, hard to predict the winner here. I think the game should go over. Why? Because easy as that. I think Minnesota's defense is still struggling. So that will be the reason why Dallas will get some goals. And as soon as the Dallas get goals, that Minnesota will start to chase the game. And you can even see a goalie pull if there will be a three goal difference, like 4-1. Even I think Minnesota even will pull the goalie on the score like that. So I think the over is looking this game.
All right, liking the over here in this game. I agree. I am concerned that we get a show, or that Jake Ottinger puts on a show and dazzles us tonight in this game. That's always a minor concern. But I still think Minnesota's defense, like they're going to give up some to Dallas. And you're right, Jason Robertson, it's hard to ignore taking this guy to score a goal right now. He's been absolutely magnificent lately for the Dallas Stars, and absolutely that's a goal scorer prop I'd be looking. I look at Fiala too for the Minnesota Wild. He finally scored the other night. He's been shooting the puck a lot. Kevin Fiala for the Minnesota Wild, and maybe Kaprizov can score too, just because look, he had been struggling. I think he finally got one the other night against the Buffalo Sabres. Maybe it's a chance for him to step up because they need more from Kaprizov. Kaprizov's kind of been silenced here the last week or two during these struggles for the Minnesota Wild. So we'll see if he can get it ramped up again.
Let me add a little bit also about Jake Ottinger playing well. The game can go over and goalie can play lights out, making those crucial saves. Like, for example, Bobrovsky, his games goes over usually, but he plays lights out, makes those crucial saves. So, yeah, not always a great goalie means it stays under.
That is 100% true. And that's why it's over or pass for me. I already went on record saying that. If I'm playing the total in this game, it's over. It's Minnesota's defense. They're good enough to score. Dallas, though, is scoring a bit more. And Minnesota overs at home. How many times have we talked about this all year with the overs at home for Minnesota? 17-5 over the total in their home games this year. So really, this is a good game. This is a good TNT game. There's a lot of intrigue. Minnesota's struggling. How does Jake Ottinger do playing close to home with family and friends in attendance? Does he rise to the occasion or does he crumble under it? I guess we'll find out. Stay tuned this afternoon. TNT. Be there. I should get a job for TNT trying to promote this game. Look at that. If that doesn't get you fired up and hyped up to watch this hockey game, nothing will. I should get some marketing or promotional job with TNT for that. There you go. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Like we're not going overboard about this Ottinger stuff in terms of playing in front of family and friends close to home. Like for you, Vito, like if you're playing, let's say you're playing, in a place in Latvia other than your hometown, and it's just another game, but then you're playing in your hometown. You got mom there, you got dad there, you got people you went to school with come into the game to cheer you on. Doesn't that get you to think, hey, I want to play well. I got to show up and be at my best today for all these people.
Yeah, of course. Well, things like that has happened actually because we have like 8 clubs here in Latvia and each in different cities. So I left my club here in my city and I went to play in to different cities. So yeah, definitely to play against your former club is very big motivation every single time, and to play in your like city definitely as well. So yeah, those cannot agree more.
Definitely it matters. So we'll see if that prompts Ottinger to have a hell of a game for the Dallas Stars tonight. We'll see. All right,
You
next up we
the
go ahead.
hockey with the players, it's this kind of a sport. When you skate, you also can glide, on the ice. So when you have the motivation, when you have a motivation to play, your legs move all the time. And sometimes when you don't have so much motivation, you start to glide, and you cannot see it so much on the TV. But when you actually look, you can see sometimes McKinnon always works with his legs and few players. But most of the lines, when you look on the second liners, third liners, have to pay attention if they work with their legs or they're just gliding around the ice, something like that.
No doubt, and you're right. There's you even as someone I didn't play hockey, but even I can notice nights when, hey, this guy he's kind of floating out there. What's going on? He's not playing at his best tonight. You can just tell, even sometimes watching TV, and where like last night, even with Matthews, there's games where Matthews is kind of quiet out there, like the last two, and then last night Matthews is all over the ice. He's hounding the puck all the game against Vancouver last night. He was magnificent. Even though they lost, it's not because of him. He played great. And you can always tell with Matthews in particular when he's really got it and he's really kicked it into another gear. And last night and those nights when he maybe doesn't have it. There really is a difference between those nights where he kind of see he doesn't have that jump and then nights like last night where he's got that second gear and he's all over the puck for the whole 60 minutes.
Of course, always like that happen. And I know it from myself. Sometimes the legs are going, and sometimes they're just not going, and you cannot do anything. It's just not going for you, and you don't feel it, but from the side, you can see it so much. Yeah.
Yeah, no question about that. It's a great insight there, no doubt. All right, Rangers and Jets next up. We've got the Winnipeg Jets -115, -120, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. The games are dwindling away for the Winnipeg Jets, and time is running out for this hockey team. They keep losing. Not keep losing. They actually won 2 in a row, Arizona and Montreal, but they keep losing tough games that are winnable, and they can't find a way. You look at these games. It was a 1-goal game with Edmonton, and then Edmonton put it away in an empty netter. They had a bad loss to Chicago. They were right there with Calgary, 1-1 going into the final minute in the third period. Calgary scores the game winner in the final minute. They lose in overtime to Dallas. They have a lead 3-0 lead, Vito, against Colorado, and then Colorado scored 6 straight and won that game 6-3. They did beat Arizona and Montreal back-to-back, but then Dallas, another winnable game at home, Friday night with no Sagan, no Heiskanen for the Stars. They had a lead in that game. They couldn't hold it. Dallas ties it and then wins it in overtime. Just so many opportunities to get more points are slipping away from the Winnipeg Jets. And now there's less games on their schedule now to do something about it. But at the same point in time, this kind of feels like desperation, sense of urgency takes over for the Jets. For the Rangers, they're going outside the conference on the road here against Winnipeg after 2 back-to-back home wins against the Blues and the Devils. It kind of feels like it's a Winnipeg spot. It does. But boy, they could do what they did against Dallas, and that's compete hard, and I have no doubt they will because they've had the effort the last few games. I've liked what I've seen from Wheeler and Scheifele and Lowry. Connor has been absolutely magnificent for the Jets. He's doing everything he can for them. But it kind of feels like it could be one of those games where they're right there again and they let it slip away again, which continues to be an issue for the Jets. And plus, I want to see who's in net here for the New York Rangers because this is the first game of this road trip for them. They're in Minnesota on Tuesday. They're in St. Louis on Thursday. They probably will have, I would think, Shesterkin because it's not a back-to-back.
It's confirmed on my page here on the goalie post. Shesterkin is confirmed.
Okay, there we go. Okay, that's updated. So I checked earlier this morning; they didn't have it yet. Yeah, Shesterkin and Hellebuck. Yep, your goalies for the Rangers and Jets. So I don't know. I don't like going against especially at a price like this. They're even money. They're plus 100. In this game with Shesterkin, who's been maybe the best goalie in the NHL this season, and we know how significant he's been for the Rangers. So it's tough this game. I'm as of right now, I'm back and forth. I think it's a Winnipeg spot. I lean Jets. I'd take the Jets before the Rangers in this spot. I don't love this situation for the Rangers starting this road trip against a desperate home team in Winnipeg. And these are the kind of spots sometimes the Rangers fall asleep. I remember they lost in Columbus in a very similar spot like this. So I lean Jets, but the idea of plus 100 with the New York Rangers with Shesterkin and net, who's been lights out. Yeah, let's fade that. Let's go against that. It's not something that excites me. Let's put it that way. Vito, what do you think here? New York and Winnipeg.
Yeah, well, Winnipeg are getting back this forward also, Nikolaj Ehlers, right?
Healers, yep, he came back.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, they're missing for a long time for him. And yeah, well, if you look the last game, well, Jets looked terrible all the games before. Last game they look a little bit better. I mean, they already have find some offense, but actually, yeah, not Shifley's and Wheeler's line was the most with the most scoring chances. I mean, more like Connor Dubois and those guys. Also, Ehlers, Stastny. I think those, yeah, Stastny plays with those. Yeah, but Dubois and Connor. I think those guys have more chances to score. But yeah, well, I don't also. Well, she's talking for Rangers. That's always a big problem. I mean, if I think he is the best goalie. I don't think like yeah, well, him and Vasilevsky, I think, but Vasilevsky has some games when he might let some goals in because he's been in the league for a longer time, I think. But yeah, Shesterkin, I think, is the best goalie at the moment in the league because if you looked in the start of the season, there were some competition with Campbell, Markstrom, or Jari or Saros. I think those goalies kind of have a little bit slipped away from that picture, and I think Shesterkin has stayed as the hottest one at the moment, I would say. And yeah, if we're getting back to this game, I think Jets will have the momentum here in this game. I think they will carry it in from the last game. They will continue to play as they lost the last game, but I think they were better than Dallas in that game. So I think they will be better than the Rangers in this game. But the only problem is here again, yeah, the goalie. So this is the one thing I don't really like to go against this hot goalie as Shesterkin. So I think this game will be a pass away for me, actually, guys. It's as well first meeting between these two clubs, so also hard to see if there will be some revenge or not. So yeah, it's hard to predict the winner here. I mean, I think Jets will have more shots on net. I think Jets will push the pace, but if Igor keeps Rangers in the game and Jets make some stupid penalties, Rangers will go on power play. They will score the goal. Igor will hold them in the game. They can win this in a low-scoring fashion. So very hard to predict the winner here, guys. I'm staying away from this game, I think.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, the dirty little secret in Winnipeg that nobody wants to talk about is Connor Hellebuck has not been great in his last few starts. You look at the way he's played: 6 goals allowed to Colorado, 4 to Montreal, although they won that game because they scored 8 for him, and then the 4 goals against Dallas on Friday night. So it's not been as good for Hellebuck lately, and which he's capable of matching Shesterkin when he's on his game, but hasn't been on his game necessarily the last few for the Jets in between the pipes. But no doubt, as far as goal scorer props, I mean, Kyle Connor, 6 of the last 10, he scored a goal. No question, the 3 out of his last 5 he scored. Kreider for the Rangers. Lowry is the one for the Jets, by the way. Adam Lowry, 4 of the last 10 games he scored a goal. 3 of the last 5 he scored a goal, and you can get plus 450 for Adam Lowry to score a goal. And I'm happy to see him starting to find the back of the net, Vito. Adam Lowry is just one of those Swiss Army knife players. Does everything for you. Kills penalties, physical, fights, power play, forechecks, gets good scoring chances. It can pop in a goal for you every now and then. Adam Lowry is a great, versatile, utility, all-around player that helps any hockey team. You're a better hockey team when you got a guy like Adam Lowry on your team, and good to see him scoring lately.
Yeah, I would definitely. I just now we're thinking again about this game. I would definitely lean with Jets guys here as well because they had very great game against Dallas, and this is usually the spots when teams come out and have another great game if they lost the last one. Only thing is Igor, guys. So yeah, that's the only thing here. I think Jets will outplay Rangers today.
Yeah, and not just that, but again, the Rangers in the game against New Jersey, even the other night for the Rangers, they didn't play phenomenal. New Jersey was right there toe-to-toe with them, and Shesterkin bailing them out again, which is, and making the big saves to make that lead stand up. And he's done that. That's the problem, though, with sometimes with betting against the Rangers. He can do that. He's been that good this year for that team. So we'll see if he can keep it rolling tonight for the Rangers against what should be a very, very desperate Winnipeg team, sense of urgency. We will see if they bring that to the table tonight in this one. All right, next up, we've got Tampa Bay. The Lightning taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. We've got Tampa Bay here, minus 240. Massive, massive favorite here in this game. 6.5 the total, pretty much across the board in this one. Now, Lankinen was in net last night for the Chicago Blackhawks, or this yesterday afternoon, I should say. So that means probably a good chance it's Marc-Andre Fleury tonight facing the Lightning. It is confirmed Fleury in net for them. But again, you got that bad blue line in front of him. That's the problem. And we saw it again. Mistakes, turnovers, and not great in front of Lankinen last night either in that 4-3 game against the Flyers. And even with Fleury in net, the last 3 starts, he's given up 10 goals in those 3 games combined. So a lot of it lately has been the fact that, Fleury has kind of struggled in between the pipes for Chicago, but a product of, let's be honest, a lackluster defense, lackluster blue line in front of him. What also concerns me here for Chicago is the penalty kill has given up goals in 2 of the last 3 games. You're facing an electric Tampa power play. 6 goals in the last 4 games with the man advantage for Tampa Bay, but that shouldn't shock anybody. We know that if you put this team on the power play, they have the chance to absolutely burn you. When you look at the last 4 head-to-head meetings, Vito, since March of last year, we've seen 6-3 Tampa, 4-2 Tampa, 4-1 Tampa, 7-4 Tampa. They have definitely controlled this series. They're the rested team. For me, it would just be nothing but Tampa Bay here in regulation at around -150. Actually, if you shop around, you can get a better price than that. Or you can just do puck line, because I should point out each of those last 4 Tampa Bay victories head-to-head against Chicago, they won all 4 of those games by at least 2 goals. So you could even go one step further here, maybe a puck line with the Lightning here in this game, -1.5. It's obviously Tampa Bay's got the rest advantage. They played Friday night against Detroit at home. Chicago had to play yesterday afternoon. Definite rest advantage. I might probably actually just take the puck line instead. And usually I do regulation line with a big favorite instead of the puck line. But I don't love the -150 price, and I can get, +104. In some spots here with the Tampa Bay puck line, +105 as well is out there for the Lightning on the puck line. That would probably be the way I would go here in this game. Just trust Tampa Bay, the better team, the more rested team, the team that's won 4 straight head-to-head against Chicago, all of them by at least 2 goals to get the job done. Vito, what do you think here, Tampa Bay, Chicago?
Yeah, well, I think Hawks is one of the teams which are gliding at the moment. Most of the players. Well, I know people like Kane can glide because he's a scorer, but the rest of the guys also are gliding on the ice. I mean, they have to work. So that's why the Hawks are not actually winning most of the games. And yeah, I was on the Tampa last game actually against Red Wings. I got very lucky there on my puck line with Stamkos scoring 2 seconds in the empty netter. So now Tampa coming in here for Blackhawks. Fleury definitely showcasing himself in this game. First meeting between these 2 clubs. I mean, yeah, I guess, well, I have to agree with Ian here to go with Lightning, but since I played them in the last game, I don't know if I'm going to lay price today with Lightning. I mean, yeah, they're the top team. I mean, they're good, but I have seen Lightning a little bit somehow playing at close games with all the teams, and then they just tune in like for 5-10 minutes, score 2-3 goals, and they win. So that's my only concern here. Why I kind of want to avoid them, because who knows what happens in this game? I mean, Tampa is the Stanley Cup champions and everything. I mean, they are in the first place at the moment in Pacific Division. I mean, that's the only thing why maybe Tampa should play actually and take this game seriously, because they are fighting with Panthers at the moment for the first place. I think they have a similar points. So yeah, I don't have any official play for this game. I'm not really interested here because I see this Fleury in the net, and I know the Fleury can steal any game he wants, and I was lucky with Tampa last game, and I have been reading Chicago pretty well. I mean, I played Blues against Chicago and Blues won 4-0. Then I didn't play the Oilers, and Oilers lost against the Hawks. So today, I kind of don't have a read on this game. I mean, Tampa, of course, is the favorite. They should cover the puck line. But I mean, I think everything can happen in this game. This Hawks team, they can bring it maybe against Lightning. Who knows? So I'm staying away.
All right, staying away, Vito. I get it. Once bitten and twice shy. That's what it's kind of like for you right now with Tampa, because you lost you had the puck line with Detroit. You won that though, right?
Yeah, that was a
But
close one.
barely.
That was a close
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
But I get it. It was not easy, and kind of
that was not
reluctant though.
yeah. It was like
Yeah.
2 seconds.
And you're right. They've not looked good the last couple of games. Pittsburgh dominated them. They struggled against Detroit to find offense, to find the back of the net and pull away in that game. So I get it. They're not exactly playing outstanding hockey at the moment, the Tampa Bay Lightning, but it's just I've a difficult time
Yeah.
here with.
Let me add. I think the Tampa is like a team. I mean, they can easily come out today like be down the 0-2 because they're sure they will come back. But I don't want to have this stress with them today.
Yes, definitely. I agree with that. Nothing wrong with pulling back the reins a little bit, and Vito's going to do that here with this game, Tampa Bay and Chicago. All right, Seattle and Carolina next up. We've got the Seattle Kraken, obviously going on the road here against Carolina. Carolina minus 320, road favorites, 6 the total in this one. This is probably a game I'm not going to really get myself involved in. It's a tough spot for Seattle back to back. They were in Washington last night. They lost to the Capitals in that one. Carolina probably wins this game. Do I want to find value with them? Can I find value with them? I'm not so sure. It's very difficult to do that with a team that's minus 320 here in this spot. And let's be honest, they kind of like Tampa right now. Vito, Carolina's not been at their absolute best the last few games. They lost to Detroit. They got dominated by Washington, and then the other night against Pittsburgh, they had to rally from behind to win that game against Casey DeSmith. Who was the backup goalie in net that night for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So this team hasn't absolutely played their best hockey the last few games. And I don't know if I'm ready to lay this big of a price with them. I mean, on a big card like this, I figure pass and move on to the next one. That's probably what I'm going to do here. Could you go with Carolina? Carolina team total could get there because Seattle, again, we saw them struggle defensively last night. It's minus 140. Carolina team total over 3.5. That's probably what I would look at if I were to get involved. I'm not sure I will, but I'll throw it a lean there. Carolina team total over 3.5 here in this game with Seattle and Carolina. That's probably the closest thing I'd get to in terms of making a bet was Carolina team total in this one over 3.5. By the way, their former television play-by-play announcer, John Forsland, who is now the Seattle Kraken television play-by-play announcer, makes his return to Raleigh, North Carolina for this game. So 20 years, I believe, as the Hurricanes television voice. And now he's with Seattle and he's returned. They did a whole big story, an article on this locally in the Raleigh sports section over the weekend. So it's a bit of an emotional return for John Forsland because really Carolina let him go because of money, financial problems. They couldn't pay him, what probably he deserved. And as a result, he didn't stick around, and now he's with Seattle. So that's probably one of the biggest storylines of this game. There's nothing really on the ice that's a big storyline, but the biggest storyline is their 20-year television voice, John Forsland, is now going back to Carolina for the first time tonight. Now is the voice of the Seattle Kraken, and a great broadcaster he is. Vito, what do you think here? Seattle, Carolina.
All right, guys. So, I mean, if Seattle today wins, then they're gonna sweep the Carolina this season, which would be pretty not normal. First meeting, Seattle Kraken won 2-1 in Seattle, and Carolina obviously outshooted them guys 36-22. So let's see who was in the goal there. It was Grubauer against Anderson, and from the players, yeah, full roster for both teams. So yeah, I think Kane should bring the revenge here. I know Keynes has not played well, but they're still a very great team. Aho, Teravainen, and everybody will be in the lineup. I mean, the power play is good. Yeah, well, I think it's a Kane spot here, guys, because I think the Canes should make a revenge about losing that game against in Seattle. Seattle are coming off back-to-back games from Capitals. So I cannot really tell. Well, yeah, I like the Canes in this spot, guys. I don't know what to add here more. I mean, for the goal scorer props, Teravainen and Aho, I already said that. And I mean, yeah, if it's going to be a Grubauer in the net, because it was Drieger yesterday, it's going to be Grubauer today. He's been cold. I mean, he's not. I mean, people were expecting him to start to play a little bit better at some point in the season, and he's just keeping to play bad. I mean, just keeps to play bad, just keeps letting bad goals. I don't know. I can't talk much about the Seattle team. It's a new team in this league. I mean, what to expect from them? They try to bring it somehow every game. They have some performance, some Donskoy stepping up. Some I don't know. I barely there. Giordano is the only guy which I like in that team more or less. I don't like that team, to be honest. So I don't like to talk about this Kraken team. I don't know what to say about them much. I think Carolina should get this done here today. I mean, Kraken over back to back. Don't think they will get it done here. I don't think they can do anything against Canes here today. I think Canes should get this done.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't hate that.
Goalies, sorry about the goalies. Canes, I think Anderson is injured or something like that. They're gonna play Ranta today.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe it is Ron. It is Ranta. It is Ranta, and it is because Frederick Anderson is banged up. Yes, day to day with a injury of some kind, probably lower body because it's usually a lower body injury, groin area or something with the goalies. So we don't know what the exact injury is, but we know it's an injury that why Anderson is going to miss this game. So it will be Antti Ranta in between the pipes here for the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. Although, as you stated, Vito, I love the way you put it. This I don't like much. They're right. They're a kind of a blah team. They're a blah team to talk about. Seattle.
I mean, they bring something against the Predators, then they cannot play against the Caps. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's kind
definitely
of
issues.
It's a new team. I think they kind of will play some games not. I mean, it is what it is with them. Nothing much on them.
Yeah, it is what it is, and what it is a team that is playing like an expansion team. Vito, unlike the Vegas Golden Knights in that first year, we remember what they did. They were just amazing. Their ability to score goals, it was pretty impressive to see, no question about that. By the way, I want to throw out another goal scorer prop in the game that's about to start for Buffalo. He started to pop a couple goals in. I sprinkled a couple on him. I've got Okposo and Thompson and Skinner. I mentioned all those guys, Kempe, Arvidsson, Deneau, Moore. Those guys are worth a look for LA in that game. Dylan Cousins as well for Buffalo. I'm starting to see him really step up lately as well. So Dylan Cousins is like plus 350 score a goal. So there you go. I'm just locking in some early goal score props here as we speak.
Adding a little bit about Carolina, guys. Maybe someone interesting info. They're gonna have 3 days off after this game, and then they're gonna play Avalanche at home. So maybe a look ahead spot.
Yeah, it definitely could be. There's no question. It's not the greatest of spots. And Carolina, we talked about this just a minute ago with Tampa. Are they playing their absolute best hockey right now? I would say no.
No, not really.
I would say no. They've had a couple of games lately where it's like, geez, they didn't really play that good in that game. And it's like, what's happening here? What's going on with these guys? But that, and that's going to happen, right, Vito? The best teams are not going to be their best 82 straight games during a long season. It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen.
Of course.
All right. That's Seattle, Carolina. We move on. We got 2 games left. Thanks to everyone for joining us, though. Over 200 live viewers joining us here on the Ice Guys on the Sunday edition of the show. We appreciate it very much. Hit the like button. We appreciate you doing that as well. It definitely helps us out. Next up, we've got the Ottawa Senators as they continue their road trip. They're taking on the Vegas Golden Knights in Sin City. We've got Vegas minus 290 home favorites in this game. The total sitting at 6 pretty much across the board in this one. Ottawa's going to have to tighten it up a little bit after what we saw yesterday against the Arizona Coyotes. Can't give up 8 goals and expect to win a hockey game. It was not pretty for the Senators defensively. And, we kind of seen now the last few games with Ottawa. Defense is kind of their foundation has kind of crumbled a little bit defensively. 5 goals to Tampa, 3 to Florida wasn't bad, but they gave up 48 shots in that game. They're very fortunate that Forsberg that night was as good as he was in net. It could have been 6-7-0 for Florida. And then all those goals they could have given up to Florida, which they maybe should have given up to Florida, they gave those up to Arizona instead yesterday. The 8 goals and the 8-5 loss. So, yeah, trending in a down way here defensively a little bit. The Senators on a back-to-back now as they play the Golden Knights, who have the rest advantage. They played Friday against Anaheim. Not pretty. They got out to the big lead and had to hang on at the end for a 5-4 victory over the Anaheim Ducks, but they got a much-needed win. Still very much, though, Vito, a shorthanded team at the moment. the Vegas Golden Knights with Pacioretty still day to day. Mark Stone still out for the Golden Knights as well. Mark Martinez, now Braden McNabb as well. Key blue liner who was a late absence as well Friday against Anaheim. He got injured in the Thursday night game against Boston, missed the Friday night game, may not play tonight. This is a guy that averages 20 minutes of ice time for you, game in, game out for the Golden Knights. So it's just another concern that we've got here with Vegas in this one. I don't know, but I got to think Ottawa's going to bring it here. And I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but this is a little bit of an underdog sprinkle for me. Nothing like best bet material or anything, but 1.5 at plus 100 in this game, minus 110 with the Sens puck line, and maybe just a small sprinkle on that massive money line price here, plus 250, because I find in these spots against, better competition, sometimes you get Ottawa really rising up and playing tough. They did get out to a quick lead against Tampa before it kind of caved in on them. I know they've lost four in a row. They're 1-6 in their last 7 games. They're on a back-to-back here on the road. None of that looks favorably on the Ottawa Senators here. But it just feels like this is such a massive, massive price for Ottawa, for Vegas, laying this price, after playing Boston, Anaheim in back-to-back games. Now you play Ottawa here tonight. And then you go on a road trip after this, Vegas following this game. So are you looking ahead to getting this road trip started? All I know is that this is a big price, too big for me to recommend Vegas in any form. I would take a small stab on the Ottawa side, plus 1.5, maybe the first period, and maybe the money line as well, plus 250 in this game. I think it's just too big of a number here for Vegas, still with a bunch of issues in terms of personnel going into this game. We'll see who's in net. We don't have confirmation. Robin Lehner, I would think, will be back in net for the Golden Knights. They gave him the night off Friday against Anaheim. Laurent Brossoit played the second of back-to-backs after Lehner started against Boston. I would think it's Forsberg for the Ottawa Senators, in my opinion, because he's played well lately, better than Murray, in fact, and he didn't play yesterday. Probably will see Anton Forsberg here for the Ottawa Senators in this matchup tonight. What do you think, Vito? Interesting game here, Ottawa-Vegas.
Yeah, well, I don't think, first of all, it's easy to tighten up defense straight away next day. So I think if they let in like 8 goals today, I think they could tighten up defense if they would have like 2 days off at least, or 1 day off a little bit. But if they play straight away next day, I don't think that's so easy to tighten up. I still think it's going to be a sloppy play here from Ottawa. And if we just look from the rest factor at the moment, both of these teams will have this as a third game in 4 days. Only case here is that Ottawa is going to be on a back-to-back and Vegas will be not on a back-to-back. And guys, if you watch actually who Ottawa has played this week, it's Tampa, Florida, and now Yotes yesterday, and now Vegas. So that's a pretty hard game. So I understand why the price is like that. Yeah, of course. Also, Ottawa can bring it here. I mean, Ottawa, but yeah, Ottawa have started kind of to play worse as soon as they get back all these like few players. There was some hot scorers. I mean, Ennis, and there was some players who were scoring for Ottawa, and now there's Stutzler, and now there is no one. There's like only Chabot, I think, who putting the puck in the net. So I'm not sure how this Ottawa team can win here today. So yeah, there's also another number here with Vegas at the moment to lay here. So I guess I will just stay away from this game because I don't think Ottawa can win here just because I think it's a terrible spot for them, and I think Vegas will win here tonight.
All right, there we go. Like in Vegas, yeah, it is not an easy spot, and they're 1-6 in their last 7 games. There's a lot that's going against Ottawa here, no question about. Maybe the over can get there, and it's 5.5 in this. Shop around. Some books have 6, some have 5.5 with the total in this game. So make sure you shop around.
And also I'm not betting Vegas because easy as that. I mean, they scored a few goals against Ducks, but if you watch that game, I mean, the Ducks defense, the puck was bouncing around like it's, I don't know, it's how you call it, it's a cookie or what. I mean, it was bouncing around. I mean, guys like Roy and Amadeo, or how you call this, Amadeo was scoring.
It's like you're playing on a road, yeah.
I mean, Amadeo scoring an empty netter like they're the first line, I don't know, for a top team, so that was funny to see. So I still don't think the Vegas offense is there yet.
Yeah, you're right, and it feels like for Vegas playing, an Eastern Conference team, a lower rung Eastern Conference team, and you're going on the road after this. Do you have your best? Do you have your focus there? We'll see. That's why I've got my concerns for Vegas, but I get that Ottawa is not an easy team at the moment to trust. Certainly on the defensive end after what we saw yesterday. But again, Forsberg, who probably will be in net tonight, has been a little bit better. Senators, by the way, 0-5 last five games against the Vegas Golden Knights. And I look at the series history here: 5-4, 5-4, 4-3, 5-3. One game stayed under 5.5, 3-2, and then you had 4-2 and 5-1 for Vegas. So all but one of those series meetings with these two teams since Vegas joined the NHL as a franchise, all but one have gone over the total, or all but one have at least had 6 goals, I should say. So if you can get a 5.5 in this game instead of a 6, the over is probably a decent bet, in my opinion, in this one. Senators and Golden Knights. All right, final game: San Jose Sharks and the Anaheim Ducks. To wrap things up, we've got Anaheim here minus 175, minus 180, home favorites. The total's 5.5, pretty much across the board in this one. Boy, did the roof cave in on the Shark Tank last night against the Nashville Predators. That was ugly. That was not good. That actually looked like, and say what you will about San Jose, Vito. They've been struggling mightily. We know that. They haven't been playing good hockey, but they look like they kind of quit. And I hate to ever say that word about any professional player or professional team. It's a damning word. It is an embarrassing word because no player and team should be in a situation where no matter how good or bad things are going, that they quit, that they give up on a game. It kind of looked like they gave up on that game last night against Nashville. It turned into an absolutely ugly rout, and the San Jose Sharks, in theory, you'd like to say, you know what? You got absolutely embarrassed. You got absolutely ashamed by that Nashville Predators team last night, losing 8-0. Don't you have to show up tonight with some pride and some effort and some intensity after getting totally embarrassed like that? You would think so. But again, this team has been playing some pretty bad hockey for a long period of time. You go back to the All-Star break, and this team is just 2-7. And in fact, they were losing going into the All-Star break, too. Their only wins were Seattle and a win against the Islanders, where they got outshot, Vito. In those 2 wins against the Islanders and the Kraken, the only 2 wins they've had since the All-Star break, the Sharks were outshot in those 2 games by a combined 87-52. So even those 2 wins that they got, they didn't deserve them. They got heavily outplayed in those 2 games. So it's tough to get to the betting window to back this team right now. I think if you're going to back them, you maybe look first period, that maybe the first 20 minutes, they're just so angry about last night and they actually show something. But do I trust them to win the game over a full 60 minutes? No, I don't. And it's not like I'm excited to back San Jose. Now, the question with Anaheim is, can you back them? Because they've had some problems. They've had some John Gibson problems lately. It just continues to be a struggle for John Gibson. I don't know what else to say at this point in time. He has not been great. You look at Gibson here going into this game against San Jose, 5 goals allowed to Vegas in that loss, 3 goals allowed to Boston, even though they won that game, 4 goals allowed to the Kings, 4 to Vancouver, 7 to Edmonton, 4 to Calgary, 4 to lowly Seattle. This is not John Gibson type numbers and performance since the All-Star break. Since the All-Star break, John Gibson's given up 4+ goals in 6 of his 7 starts. 4+ in 6 of his 7 starts. I mean, it's just not been what we're used to seeing from a goalie that we know has got talent, is very good when he's on his game. And look, a lot of it's been in front of him, maybe some bad bounces at times, as Vito said the other night. But still, I mean, he's got to be better. And the team defensively has got to help him out when he's going through this time where he's kind of losing his confidence a little bit. So to me, I could only go over this number in this game from a total standpoint. Anaheim has been a dead nuts over team for a long period of time now, 8-1 to the over in their last 9 games, Anaheim, going into this game. Not so much for San Jose, because San Jose's had games where they haven't been able to find the back of the net and score. You know, the Boston game where they only scored 1 goal, the Vegas game, they only scored 1 goal. So for that reason, they played to some unders. But boy, Anaheim is just an over machine at the moment. It's because they're good enough to score with Terry and Zegras and Ricard Raquel, and Silverberg's even chipped in lately offensively. They've got more than enough offense lately, and they're just not keeping the puck out of their own net. Combination of defense that maybe needs to be better, but more than anything, John Gibson needs to get his confidence back. Worth noting that Zach Sawchenko will be the goalie tonight for San Jose because they went to Stalock, the journeyman veteran goalie, last night. Obviously, that didn't work out well for him. And Aiden Hill and James Reimer are both injured, and neither one is ready to return yet. So there's no Aiden Hill available. There's no James Reimer available. They're not going to put Stalock back in after that debacle last night. So it's going to be Zach Sawchenko here for San Jose. And I don't know if I trust him further than I can throw him. He's making another relief. He gave up 2 goals on 8 shots in relief of Stalock last night. He's got a 3.3 goals against average, 902 save percentage here in the NHL. Has he made one start this year? I'm trying to see here. I don't know if he's made a start, but I think he might have relieved someone. But I think this might be one of his very few starts that he's had. He's given up 5 goals on 51 shots in his NHL appearances this week, which is not terrible, but still, I mean, I need to see a lot more. 3.3 goals against, 902 save percentage. It's not great numbers for Sawchenko. It just feels like if you got to bet this game, it's hard to look anything but over the total here, especially with several of the books giving you a 5.5 here on this one. It's just a question of, can San Jose help you out? Because Anaheim, I definitely think, can find the back of the net. And you got to think San Jose, after being totally embarrassed last night, they got to show a little pride, attack this Anaheim team who's been giving up some goals lately. So that's why I think the over is probably worth a look here. Vito, what do you think? Sharks, Ducks?
Yeah, I locked in before the show over 5.5. For me, the reasons are pretty simple here. Again, I don't think a team can tighten up a defense in less than 24 hours here. And I mean, if you look at the Ducks, I mean, their defense is terrible. They're the same team like last year, basically, but this year they just can score goals. So since they can score goals, the games have started to go over because the opposition team just needs to score more goals. So easy as that. And I think as well, yeah, if you watched how the Ducks played against Las Vegas, there was a terrible defense there. Another thing is, I think it's not Gibson actually today. I think it might be Stollers, as at least it's projectable at my page.
It might be. It should be, to be quite honest with you. He needs a rest. He needs to be Dallas Aikens for Anaheim, the head coach. He needs to do what Sheldon Keefe did with Toronto and give Jack Campbell a week or so. Sheldon Keefe gave Jack Campbell a week or so to, clear his mind, hit the reset button. I think John Gibson needs that right now. Give him a week off. Let him, recharge his batteries, hit the reset button, give him a rest, give him a chance to, take a little mental break because he needs something to get his game back. So if it's Stolarz, as you kind of think it will be, Vito, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a Stolarz, and this is the third meeting between these two clubs. First 2 meetings ended in a draw, and usually, yeah, I think it's at 5.5 because these two teams usually play to the under. But I mean, this is, I think, the case when the Sharks will come out after a loss 0-8 last night. They will come out here running with legs. So I think they will get the scoring chances as well. I think Savchenko will not be best in the goal as well. So I think Ducks easy will score a few here. So at easy can see both teams actually getting to the 3. So I think it pushes the over here tonight on this game.
All right, there we go. Liking the over here, Vito. Over 5.5 minus 125 with the San Jose Sharks and the Anaheim Ducks. Interesting to see what kind of response we get more than anything else from the San Jose Sharks after what happened to them last night, because that's about as ugly as a loss as we've seen in the NHL, certainly throughout this season. All right, great stuff with Vito here on this Sunday NHL card. A reminder, of course, DraftKings Sportsbook, official sports betting partner of the NBA and NHL. Take advantage. NBA's back, and if you're a new customer, you can bet just $1 on any NBA team and win $150 in free bets. Take advantage of that with DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet. You can still play for DraftKings daily fantasy basketball contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings app now. Use promo code THPN. Get involved, of course. NBA basketball. Sign up for an account. Use promo code THPN. Must be 21 years of age or older. Must reside in a DraftKings Sportsbook state. Minimum $5 deposit. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for all of those details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Download the DraftKings app. Sign up for an account. Use the promo code THPN. All right. Best bets now to wrap up the Sunday edition of the Ice Guys. Vito, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
I have many interesting games today. I think I'm gonna go actually with the last game we just now talked about. I'm gonna go with that over 5.5 in Ducks and a Sharks game.
All right, very good. San Jose, Anaheim over 5.5, minus 125. Best bet here for Vito on this Sunday NHL card. I'm going to make it best bet. I went from on the fence to whether I'm going to bet it. I am going to bet it. I like the way it sets up, and normally I hate betting against Minnesota at home, but I really like how this sets up here for Dallas with the Ottinger situation. He's going to be playing close to home. He's a Lakeville, Minnesota native, which is just close by to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Family, friends will be there. And to be quite honest with you, which team is playing better hockey right now? You can say Dallas is getting lucky. I've said that. Maybe they're getting a little lucky. They're winning all these close games, but they're winning them. And they have Seguin back. They might have Miro Heiskanen back. They're a team that's in better form than Minnesota right now. It's not a given that Minnesota's just going to step back on the home ice and win this game. I thought that against Calgary after they got whipped by Calgary on the road, that they'd return home against Calgary and play better. They lost that game 5-1. So I think you've got Dallas a live dog here, plus 130, with the Ottinger, I think, ready to play one heck of a game potentially in front of family and friends in attendance. So let's go with the Dallas Stars, team in better form at this kind of price, plus 130. I think it's worth a look. Dallas, plus 130 against Minnesota. A little hopefully watch and win action on TNT this afternoon. Dallas plus 130 against Minnesota. For my best bet. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. We appreciate it. 213 live viewers. Hit the like button on the way out. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Vito, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will talk to you again tomorrow on Monday for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.